Hi, it's John. Thanks for watching. Today I'm going to talk to you about one of the most common questions I get as an EV owner, and that's in regards to EV range or charging. There's been a lot of talk in media and amongst various people that they're concerned about the range of the vehicle or how to find a charger or going to a charger because that's all new. They've never done it before. So in today's video, I want to take that anxiety and put you at ease. And I want to show you that actually charging happens to be one of the benefits of being an EV owner. So let's get started. Before I begin, I want to remind you that if you like the content of my channel, please subscribe and give me a like. Send me any comments you have also. Today I'm talking about the most common topic or question in regards to electric vehicles, and that's charging. And the anxiety that comes with that, especially if you've never done it before. So today what I want to show you is that there really doesn't need to be that much anxiety around this. And I want to step you through the different types of chargers that you will be involved with as an EV owner. And what the benefits are, and really calm your nerves about them and show you it really isn't bad. It's actually pretty nice. So let's start out by breaking it down to three categories of charging. These are the three areas that you'll ever do charging in. And the first one is home charging. The second one is what I call public slow chargers, and I'll get into the details of these in a little bit. And the last one being public fast chargers. Let's now break these down and show you some of the benefits of each of these. Let's begin with what I believe is the most important category and the one that you really should have, and that's charging at home. And why is charging at home so important? Well, look at these benefits charging at home provides. First of all, the one thing is electricity that you pay for in your home is usually very cheap compared to paying for electricity at public chargers. So you're going to save money. And it's also typically cheaper than the cost of gasoline. And I've done videos showing the savings that I've saved on electricity versus gas, and you can find out. But for me, it's been thousands of dollars of savings. So it's big money. The other thing is convenience. You don't have to go out of your way. You're going home. You're parking your car in your garage or in your driveway. You're going home. You don't have to go anywhere special. You don't even have to pull out your wallet or your phone to pay for the fuel, because the electricity, you get your bill every month. That's already taken care of. The other thing is, you don't have to stand outside. If you got a garage, that's even more convenient. You just simply connect and go into your house. And you can see that I'm now showing you a video of me going into my garage with my vehicle. And basically, all I do is reach for the charger, bring it back to the charge port on my vehicle, open the charge port, plug it in, and then I'm all done. I head into the house, and that's all there is to it. It's that simple. The other thing is it doesn't have any fumes or spills like gasoline does. I think you really enjoy charging at home. It is definitely a major benefit of being an EV owner. And the other thing is that charging at home is the most popular charging out of the three categories that I show you today. It's the one you're going to use the most. And it's the most convenient, most efficient, cost-wise and convenience-wise than all the other categories. It's a wonderful thing. Keep in mind that to really charge full EVs, you're going to need a 240-volt circuit with, I say, at least minimum of 30 amps. Because your goal, I think, with a home charger is have the ability to fully charge your vehicle overnight. I think that's the goal. And if you have a proper circuit with the proper voltage and current, you can do that. The bottom line, home charging is simple, quiet, and convenient. Now, the next charging category that you'll probably be accustomed to is what I call public slow charging. And I use the slow charging to differentiate it from fast charging, okay? And say there's really two speeds, slow and fast. And typically these public slow chargers are found in many municipalities, towns and cities, in their parking lots and garages, office buildings, businesses, etc., depending on your locale. So you should check them out and see which ones are available to you. First of all, some of them are fee-based, but many of them are also free. So depending where you live and which ones are available there, I know my town had many free ones for a long time. Now they've added a charge to it. They still have a few free ones around, and I still take advantage of it. But the nice part about it is that if you're going to a restaurant, like I would go to a restaurant in town and it was free, I would just drive, plug my car in, go to the restaurant, spend an hour or two, and no, it's not going to charge my car fully, but I'm getting a boost maybe of some 20 miles or 40 miles, depending on how long I stay there. So that is very convenient. That is very nice. And the other thing is, even if it's fee-based, a lot of times fee-based chargers of these slow public ones are less expensive than fast chargers. In general, they are, but you'll have to check the price. You might also compare the price to what you would charge at home. Those are things and considerations to keep in mind. But the other thing is, since they're less expensive in general compared to fast chargers, you might choose to use a slow public charger while you're on a vacation or out of town. I've done that in the past. I was staying at a hotel once, and across the street was a fee-based charger, but the charge of those fee-based chargers were a lot less. They were like 20 cents per kilowatt hour versus 30 or 40 cents of the fast chargers. So I charged at the public slow charger. Another thing to keep in mind, so there is some convenience and savings sometimes using these chargers. So these typically, they tend to be small in size. So I'm showing you a picture of what a slow charger looks like. They tend to be very small boxes connected with these cords, which then connect to your car. So you can know the difference between a slow charger and a fast charger by the size of the charger. And they only deliver typically between 5 and 8 kilowatts of power, which means really it would require anywhere from 10 to 16 hours to fully charge a 80 kilowatt hour battery, which is probably a typical size for most full EVs these days. Now, the things you got to keep in mind is that many of them require an app to activate, especially if they're going to charge you. They have some way to tie into your credit card. And they also may have idle fees if they're charging you, because they don't want you sitting in those spots hooked up and not charging, basically using up a spot where somebody else could be using it and you're not fully utilizing it or charging at that time. So just keep that in mind. But the bottom line, public chargers can be very convenient and inexpensive. So check them out. Now, the last category of chargers that you got to be aware of as an EV owner is fast chargers. And fast chargers are typically found in parking lots of business and near expressways. Why? Because typically fast chargers are needed on road trips. When you're going a distance that is beyond the range of your vehicle and you're going to need to charge away from home. They do this at the fastest rates that are currently available today. Now, this is one area that's got a lot of fear put into people. But you got to keep in mind that vehicle software makes some of this very convenient. Like when you go to a gas station, you don't typically know where the gas stations are out of town. You look for signs and you go find one. Well, with EVs, the vehicle software often will take you there as part of its trip planning. Typically, when I go on a trip with my Tesla, I put in the final destination for that day, and it's going to take me to that destination, and along the way, it's going to take me to a charger if it's beyond the range of my vehicle and allow me to charge there. And I can also set what state of charge do I want to arrive at my destination. Let's say I'm going to do some driving around in that town or city when I arrive, so I want to have more than 10% or less of state of charge on the vehicle. I can say arrive at least 40% state of charge. So you can also set that in your vehicle. So vehicle software makes this a lot simpler than I think you're hearing out there in the press. So keep that in mind. And the other benefit of fast chargers, and maybe people will poo-poo this, but I found it very favorable for me. It allows you to take breaks, stretching, walks, use the restroom, get coffee or tea, snack or a meal while you're going on a trip. You're going to need to use that somewhere along your trip. Typically what I say with my vehicle nowadays, if I'm going a long distance, I'm only stopping every 3 hours, which for me is about time where I'd like to stop to use a restroom or just stretch or get a coffee or a tea or some snack. So I find this not being an issue of the fact that I can't go 5-6 hours straight like some people can do in a gas vehicle. This is, to me, I think, a benefit. It's been a benefit for me. Maybe I'm older than a lot of people, and I find that my back really could use straightening out and a little walk after several hours. Many people have a little reminder on their phone if they have a desk job to get up after an hour and stretch. Well, EVs do this for you every 3 hours or so. Another item that I must point out is that some people are apprehensive about charging at a fast charger because they've never done it before. They've fueled their car at a pump but not familiar with a fast charger. Well, once you do it once or twice, it's very simple. And actually, in a few seconds, I'm going to show you a video of how simple it can be to charge at a high-speed charger. Typically, in almost all cases, for a fast charger, there is a fee. I only remember maybe 4 years ago where EA Electrify America had some free weekends of charging. They don't do that anymore, but you're going to pay. And typically you're going to pay through an app on your phone or a credit card, or you register your vehicle through your app and you do a plug and go. Now, having a Tesla with their app and their superchargers, which is their name for the fast chargers, is very simple. And I'm showing you the video of that right now. Basically, you pull into, and your vehicle has guided you, the vehicle software has guided you to this Tesla supercharger, and I back into my spot. I get out of my vehicle, and I just grab the connector and press a button which opens my little electric charge hatch, and plug the connector into it. Then I just leave the vehicle. I go take a break, or grab a coffee, or spend a little time at the convenience store or wherever that charger is. On returning from when my charge is complete or nearing completion, I go back to the car. I press the button which disconnects the charging mechanism. I pull the connector out, replace it back onto the charging holster, and I'm done. I'm ready to go. I never pulled out my phone, my wallet, my credit card. It's all registered. It's just simple plug and go. The other thing you got to keep in mind with regards to this is that this tends to be the more expensive part of charging. Fast chargers have the highest rates. Now they deliver 150 to typically 350 kilowatts of power, which means you're only going to be there from 15 to maybe 60 minutes, depending on how much charge you need. I'm rarely there 60 minutes, and sometimes there's a minimum of just 10 minutes, because that's all I need to get to my destination. And sometimes they're 30 or 45 minutes at the most for me. I find that I can use that time very easily, and it's not a big thing that the fact that I arrived at my destination a little later than I would have if I took a gas vehicle. Now, costs vary for fast chargers quite a bit, so that's something else you got to keep in mind. I did a video a couple months ago showing you that in New York State that Tesla superchargers actually happen to be one of the lowest cost fast chargers in the area compared to Electrify America, EVgo, and in the Apple Green locations along the thruway. That's something you keep in mind because you can have a lot more savings depending where you're stopping. And the other thing you have to keep in mind, just like in public fee-based slow chargers, there could be, and very often, idle fees. So you don't want to be taking up a charger location and not charging, okay? And they penalize you for this by charging you idle fees. The other thing to keep in mind is the time of day sometimes will be a determination on how much the cost of electricity is at a fast charger. Obviously, peak times of day, they're going to charge you the most, but if you can wait to evening you'll have the lowest cost electricity at that location. But the bottom line is, I know some people say, oh, I'd take my gas vehicle on road trips because I'm concerned with. Well, I don't do it. I take my EV. I enjoy the experience. I don't mind the little extra time at the stops. So for me, it's all a benefit. It forces me to get out of my vehicle, stretch, take a walk, and get refreshed and back on the road again. Thanks for watching today. I hope you found some benefits on the whole aspect of charging like I did. And I hope that puts any anxiety that you have around owning an EV and the issues around charging to rest. Okay? I think you'll find them more convenient than you think. And just keep in mind that, ask yourself, the worst charging and the one that requires the most amount of effort is the fast charging. And how many times a year do you do that? What I found out is that over 92% of the time, I'm doing home charging or public slow charging versus the fast charging. So very rarely do I go on a trip that's more than 1,000 miles round trip. And if I do it, it's maybe once or twice a year at most. And because if I'm going farther, I'm taking a plane. Okay, that's just me. Ask yourself that same question. Okay, most of the time, I'm enjoying the quiet, comfort, savings, and convenience of home charging. Well, I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.